As you drive down the street, it might seem like on every corner that there's a McDonald's, a 7-Eleven, or even a Starbucks. And if that sounds like a lot, consider this. There are actually more than 48,500 storage units that we have right here in the United States, which is more than all of the McDonald's, 7-Elevens, and Starbucks locations combined. So what this tells us is that everyone has clutter. In fact, 80% of the items that people keep, they just never use. There is so much talk about how can I have that clutter-free life, and most people feel so many pressures when trying to get rid of all of that stuff. But how does all of this clutter even accumulate in the first place? And how do we manage it? Hi, I'm Rebecca, and in part one of this video, I'm going to talk about the impacts of clutter as well as why we have it. So, what is clutter? Well, it's any collection of items that people accumulate over time, whether it's in their home or even in their office, that they don't necessarily use or want to hold on to. Clutter can also include digital stuff, whether that is on your laptops or even your phones. Research actually shows that our physical environments significantly influence our cognition, emotions, and behaviors, decision-making, and relationships with others. Clutter not only impacts our physical space, but it also affects us emotionally and mentally. Cluttered spaces can have negative effects like increased stress or anxiety levels, that difficulty of focusing on things, might even have some effect in that emotional eating or feeling depressed. It can impact how much sleep that we get. We might also have some tendencies to want to procrastinate. And then there might be that impulse to wanting to buy more things. Have you ever heard the phrase, clutter is in the eye of the beholder? Each one of us chooses to see clutter in our own way. There's a level of comfort that people may consider whether something is messy to them or not. So why do we hold on to things? Well, people keep clutter for a variety of reasons, like feeling overwhelmed. It can be physically or mentally exhausting just to getting rid of stuff, so sometimes it's just as easy to keep it the way it was. Or objects remind us of maybe some important things. For example, people keep smaller clothes than in the hopes that they're going to lose the weight. However, keeping those objects only reminds you of your goals, but it does not get you any closer to achieving those goals. A third reason is that the items have some sentimental value. Whether it's keeping a childhood memory or something that's been passed down, it's hard to letting something like of that go because of what it means to you. Which leads me to the next point, being afraid to letting go. These are the things that are harder to let go of because especially it might have that sentimental value or it was handed down. You know that it has that special meaning there and you cannot replace those memories with just another item. And lastly, we find comfort in our possessions. Each would not be so hard to getting rid of if that material item did not benefit people in that way. Even if we don't use those things frequently, these things, they also bring us that sense of safety and security that would be painful for letting it go. Now that I have shared the impacts of clutter and why we have it, I encourage you to check out the second video that's linked below in the description to learning more tips on starting your decluttering journey.